Guess who got brands talking? Brandlife.co.za.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a splendid day as the winter is starting to creep up on us. You have tuned in with the WITEE Chatterbots show, Women in Tech Empowering Everyone. Hashtag us on hashtag WITEE show. And I'm coming live to you from the 27 boxes in Melville. And thank you very much for joining in. Morning, guys. Right, so today we're going to do things a little bit differently on the WITEE Chatterbots show. We are going to take you through a masterclass today, and in terms of just sharing a little bit of knowledge, and then we've got some exciting things lined up after Easter, which we would announce hopefully in the coming weeks. But for today, what we're going to discuss is mobile as the catalyst and enabler of the connected marketer, and how emerging trends will form part of blockbusting strategies in 2018, but also in future to come. So the important thing is that if you think that today is fast and you think your life and everything that you're doing is like it's just going too quickly, then I have to say that you need to recognize that today is going to be the slowest it's ever going to be. If we look at currently the growth in the marketing technology landscape over the 7 years, we have grown from 150 technologies to over 5,000 technologies. According to MarTech Landscape, this has risen significantly, and trends will rise in the technology space, but it is impossible to apply all of these trends. Think about this. If you're a marketer and we go to all of these conferences, all we hear all day long is like, this is the new trend, this is what's happening, and we find ourselves in a situation where we're like, okay, now we know that all of these things are trends, but we can't just apply all of them as easy as said and done. So we need to go back to what is right for our customers and their needs and have clarity as to what we need to do. So it's no secret what these trends are. We hear a lot about blockchain technology. We hear a lot about the Internet of Things. We hear a lot about artificial intelligence, chatbots, mixed reality, augmented reality. These are all things that is going to play a significant role in future. And as we are currently referring to it as the fourth industrial revolution, it's really creating a space where you really need to think fast on your feet and set your foundations right and understand where you're heading. Now, if we look at mobile, I think a lot of people look at mobile as, it was the future in 2010, but now we've moved beyond that because it's evolving and it's part of our lives to such an extent. But here's the important thing that a lot of people forget to think about is that mobile is actually the device that has the superpowers, because it's the catalyst and enabler of change. You wear it with you all the time. It's the glue that binds all of the new technologies together. According to We Are Social, the constant device in our lives, 95% mobile penetration rate currently in South Africa, and over 60% of those mobile phones are smartphones, which means is that a lot of people have access to the internet. But then we need to look at transformation. So I'm going to tell you a quick little story. I lost about 30 kilos in the past 18, 19 months. And in order for me to have done that, I had to go back to the basics. I was on all these fad diets. Oh my gosh, it was quite a journey, but I was on all of these fad diets. But then when I went back to the basics, like my calorie control, what I can and can't eat, my exercise, maintenance plan, and also like always optimize. So when I've had a bad day, okay, here's the mistakes I've made. How am I going to improve and make it better? That is exactly how digital transformation works. It's no different from my personal transformation. You have to have a strategy, you have to understand the need, you have to have tactics, measurement, and optimization. But here is the problem, is that we as marketers are losing our way. We are becoming obsessed with the new and chasing the new, the pace is going too fast and it's hard for us to embrace it. And then we also have this whole problem of applying tactics rather than strategy. And it's of no fault of our own. The conditions around you make it hard to manage transformation. So it's important for us, and if you want to have artificial intelligence, if you want to have blockchain technology, all of those things, you integrate it into your strategy. You need to get your foundations right and go back to the basics. And we're going to discuss that shortly. And this brings us to the rise of the connected marketer. So I'm going to talk to you about the connected marketer approach. You're probably going to find yourself nodding, this is very familiar, I know this. But these are the fundamentals rooted in the underlying principles of marketing. So with constant change around us, it's calling for a new breed of marketers. It's the conductor of technology, a symphony of technology, creating a seamless, synchronized experience for your customers. If we look at the connected marketer, what is it? And if I had to explain it to you in 1 or 2 minutes, this is what it is. The more connected devices that we introduce into our lives, the more constantly connected we are. The more constant connection, the more state of connectedness we reach. And the state of connectedness is really to be mindful of the fact that you are connected at any point in time. But the more state of connectedness that we have, the more we have a behavioral change. And this leads us to the connected individual. And these connected individuals are attracted to connected brands. And this leads us to the rise of the connected marketer. So I hope that makes sense for you. And I'm going to go more into detail. So if you think of your day-to-day life, if you go to a coffee shop or you're heading for a conference, what's the first thing you do? You take out your phone and you ask, what is your Wi-Fi password? And people will give you the Wi-Fi password, and you at that particular moment in time know that you are constantly connected. We live in the age of ubiquitous connectivity. We feel this need to be constantly connected. Our mobile phone is the very first thing that we would use to try and connect to the Wi-Fi. We know we have access to our digital selves all the time. If we look in 2020, the predictions are that we will probably have about 10 connected devices per individual. But if we look at 2022, the estimation is that there will be 50 connected devices per household. It's going to become more prevalent, more devices, more in our households as we start doing the Internet of Things. And also as the IoT big drive of the connected marketer, we're going to go about our lives. We switch seamlessly from device to device, always maintaining our connection with the digital world alongside the physical world, seamlessly being monitored. So you can call it the Internet of Things, you can call it the Internet of Everything, the Internet of Intelligence, the Internet of Me. The thing is, it's all the same thing, but it's as the Internet of Things advances, we own more connected devices in the form of wearables and connected objects. The sense of always on connected lifestyle, we will collect more and more and more data. I mean, if you just think about that, it's like a tsunami of data that we on a daily basis capture from online behavior, offline behavior. I was actually watching a video yesterday where there was a documentary done. I think I'm going to say it, but it was by Fox, and they used 2 mobile phones and they put them off. They were on airplane mode. They didn't have SIM cards in it, not connected to Wi-Fi. And with these 2 devices, they traveled throughout the city for 2 or 3 hours, and they wanted to understand what information was being captured. And they had like this transmitting device. So the moment they came into a room where there was Wi-Fi, they linked it to their computer, and they would see the same information that Google would extract from that. And it had everything accurate: time, date, where, how, when, even with the airplane mode off, even without a SIM card, even without Wi-Fi. At a later point in time, when they connected to the internet, it could extract all this information. What I'm trying to say is that there's so much data that's out there, and we're going to use it, and we need to use it responsibly and not exploit our customers. But these are the kind of things that we need to start thinking about as to how we're going to use this data. There was this famous marketer, Marshall McLuhan. He said this wonderful thing, and I absolutely love it. He said, "We shape our tools and then they shape us." Exactly as he said. In other words, we decided we're going to use mobile, but now mobility is changing the way we think and act. And this is what we call the micro moments. So the knowledge that you are living in a state of constant connectivity is more important than the means of connected. What do I mean by that? It doesn't matter what device you're using to connect to your digital self. The fact is that you're constantly aware of your ability to connect to your digital self. That state of connectedness is far more important than the technology itself. So one thing that we need to also understand is that for young people especially, there's no difference between physical and digital. It's the same thing. The younger the consumer, the more digital connections they are likely to have. And in fact, more likely they are to see very little difference between being connected physically and digitally. So what I'm saying by that, if you think about a young person, whether they're standing with a group of friends and having a chat, or whether they're on a WhatsApp group and communicating with one another, there's no difference in the communication, the way they communicate with one another. So it's important to realize that. Another thing is, some of the smartest brands in the world knows this to be true, because Mark Pritchard, the chief brand officer of Procter & Gamble, said this best. He says, when 5 billion customers shift their habits, you shift with them. And this is what was actually said about mobile. But the reality is, when your consumer's behavior changes, you change with them and you match that behavior. So if you think about it, we are a connected individual. So in an instant, we could be a connected shopper. So we go shopping and we see something that we're interested in buying. What do? We pull out our phone and we quickly go to price check, and we want to see what is the right price. Is this cheaper, or can I get it cheaper somewhere else? At any point in time, you can be a connected consumer. I want to order myself Mr. Delivery. I'm going to take up my phone and I'm going to order my dinner for this evening. I put my phone back and the order is over and done with. I could be a connected patient, a connected passenger. If you think of Uber, going to a concert, I take up my phone, call the Uber, go and enjoy myself, take pictures at any point in time, share it on social media, and then I decide I want to come back home and I take up my phone, I consume Uber's services, and then get back home. So we have the ability to be the shopper, patient, or passenger in an instant because of mobile. We talk about the connected shopper, we talk about the connected consumer, or a patient or passenger. We can be a connected consumer, but then stop to be a connected consumer, but we always connected individuals. I hope that makes sense to you, peeps. If I had to tell you about a documentary you need to watch, like Terms and Conditions Apply on Netflix, all you have to do is take out your phone while I'm talking to you now and go to the app, put it on your list, and then continue listening to what I have to say. You are a connected individual at that point in time. So the connected marketer, and this is very important, the connected marketer therefore creates, develops, and maintains a brand that understands and meets the needs of the connected individual. So if you think about it, these are the 4 human dimensions that a connected marketer would always need to apply. They need to merge and synchronize the physical, digital, emotional, and sensorial brand experiences. So how will they do that? Well, I think we're going to go on to a quick little break. And then when you get back, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty as to how you can apply 4 key tasks.
You're listening to brandlife.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlife.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat. You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back to the WITEE Chatterbots show. I am Carmen Murray, and we were just talking about the connected marketer, what it is, the rise of the connected marketer, and how all these trends forming part of our lives. And I want to talk to you guys about, we spoke about the four human dimensions, which is merging the physical, digital, emotional, and sensorial brand experience to actually be a connected marketer. But as we mentioned in the beginning of the masterclass, is that one thing that's important for you always to consider is the fact that what I'm going to say now might sound very familiar to you purely because it's the fundamentals of marketing. However, if we want to apply all of these new trends like artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, blockchain technology, we need to get the foundations right, because if we don't have the foundation right, everything is skewed thereafter. And I want to talk to you guys about the 4 key tasks. And being a connected marketer must start with the understanding of the individuals and what you believe about your target audience. This is basic marketing, asking and listening. So the connected marketer seeks to understand those individuals, their likes and dislikes, their plans, their challenges, and more, in order to work out what they can do to help them. So the first thing that we always need to, so out of the 4 key tasks, the first one is build an understanding. So being a connected marketer must start with that understanding. So you would start with an individual and think, what is on this consumer's mind? What are they thinking about? What's bothering them? What can I do to make their lives easier? How can I remove challenges in their lives and make things better? How do they perceive my customer? What do they think of my brand? How do they perceive my brand? All of those typical questions and behavioral things that we notice about our consumers. So it's important to start with that need. But there's 3 types of customer needs that we need to consider. If we look at startups, most startups fail because they didn't understand the customer's need and understand the need for their products or services. And it's exactly the same thing when we go out there as marketers. The 3 types of customer needs that we need to consider is, what are the things that I want to do? What are the things that I should be doing? And what are the things that I really don't want to do? So let me elaborate. So the ones could be things like, I want to go and watch a derby with the Kaiser Chiefs and the Buccaneers. I want to go and watch this concert. I want to go and be recognized by my friends and family. And I want to be able to do fun things. I want to go go-karting, all of those kind of things. But then the shoulds is like, I need to eat healthy. I need to do exercise. I need to educate myself. I always need to be aware. I need to save money. Those are the things that I should be doing. But then the frictions can be anything about the annoyances or the risks. Like, for example, I absolutely hate it to stand in a queue or at a bank. And I'm always thinking, can somebody just remove this problem? I actually use a company called Don't Queue. Because when I have to renew my ID or my password or my passport or anything like that, I'm like, I'm so not standing in the queue. They stand in the queue for me. And it's important that brands need to consider, how do they remove those frictions out of our lives? Now, a normal marketer would usually focus on the wants, and that's the fun stuff to make their brand appealing and do what everybody else is doing. But a connected marketer actually combines all 3 of these needs in their strategy. So they create a solution for the wants, the shoulds, as well as removing a lot of the frictions. Now, once you understand the need, you need to enable it. So this is the second task that you need to do. You need to enable it. because it's not about how you want to sell. It's actually about how your customers wants to buy. So if we look, you can at any point in time, you can go and Google a customer journey. And you will find hundreds, if not thousands, of customer journeys and how it needs to work. But the thing is that we always need to think of this clearly, is that there's no such thing as a linear decision making anymore. We don't think in step by step. We're inspired at that particular moment in time, and therefore we would have a certain behavior. We move in and out in circular movements when we're on the internet, when we're in the physical and the digital world. Now, McKinsey actually came up with this wonderful consumer journey, which is circular motion. But the one important thing is that the language doesn't make sense because it's marketing lingo. When we work in customer consumer journeys, we need to look at the language that our customers speak. So our customers find us, they find us on the internet, or they would find us in a shop in the point of sale, or they would read about us somewhere. So they find us, they then choose us, then they buy from us, and then they experience us, and then they share it with their friends, and they talk about us, and then they love us. And that is how the customer journey needs to work. So we always need to think about the lingo as being a barrier, because many times especially I think we also see that a lot in insurance, is like risk management and risk assessment. And, we need to break it down into terms that our customers understand. It makes total sense for our customers. We need to remove barriers, which is one of the third tasks. So it's easier to engage with our target audience. If we look at falling response rates, ad blocking is increasing, data privacy laws, consumer fatigue, channel proliferation, and more, all may cut through an engagement harder for marketers. So we need to consider removing those frictions. So a great example would be Amazon. And I think Amazon plays a very important role as an inspiration to the connected marketer, because they do exactly that. They merge the 4 human dimensions, which is the physical, the digital, the emotional, and the sensorial experiences, and they create experiences for their customers without the customer having to think, now I have to go on an app, now I have to do this. It really is a seamless experience. So one of the things that they've done, which really fascinates me, is what they've done for wine. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love a bottle of wine now and then, and especially sharing that with my husband. I would say, okay, right, I'm cooking a lovely pasta for us tonight. I'm going to go and get us a bottle of wine. So usually how I would decide to buy this bottle of wine is by price. So I know if I spend like 100 Rand on a bottle of wine, I know that's going to be a good bottle of wine, especially now with the drought. You don't always see all the wines that you like and used to. You sometimes have to make different decisions, and price becomes the proxy for you to make those decisions. Then what you would do is you would see the wine, and then you would make a decision. And then you have friends over for dinner. You decide, you know what, I'm going to go for a little bit more expensive wine. So I'm going to spend 200 Rand, and you make your decision. Then you go to a wedding and you say, okay, right, I want to buy people the wedding that I'm attending, I want to buy the couple a bottle of wine that's got the year in which they got married, so they can preserve it and open it in 10 years from now. So I'm be comfortable to spend 10,000, or not 10,000. Okay, I would be comfortable, say, for example, spending 2,000 Rand on that. So if I spend that amount of money on it, therefore, I need to see, okay, right, I'm assuming that the price is telling me that this is a good bottle of wine. So Amazon realized this, and that not all people know their wine well, and this is how they make the decision. So they created a platform in which when you go onto their website, it asks you, are you a wine buff? Are you going to be a host? Or are you an individual buying? And once you select that, you choose the price that you're comfortable with, and it actually serves you with the right bottle of wines that would meet your needs and based on what you're cooking and all of that. Simplified in 2 steps, and you know exactly what wine to buy. They've removed all the friction in decision making. The same with tires. If you have to go and buy tires for your vehicle, it becomes a nightmare to decide which tires do you need to put put onto your vehicle, and it's removing all of that friction and making the decision easier for the customer. So the truth of the matter is the altered expectations of our consumers. You're not competing against the people that are advertising on TV or radio or digital in South Africa. You are competing against the likes of YouTube, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Starbucks, etc. Because these are the kind of experiences that customers are expecting from us. And what these particular brands really do well is that how they define their customer needs and how do they define engagement. They recognize their customer, they remember their customers, they adapt to their customers, they assist their customers, they value them, they reward them, they anticipate their needs, and they delight, protect, and respect them. This is the 10 expectations they set. This is what brands do. This is what customers consider a minimal digital experience. This is a connected marketer. You have to do these 10 things. So if we look at segmentation, how we always go is like, oh, okay, we're going to segment LSM7 because the person has a car and they have a microwave or whichever. I don't even understand half of that segmentation because I think it's so far from the reality. And LSM, according to me, needs to die because you can't segment your customers like that. The way that many of the more advanced brands are doing it is doing persona development. So they group people according to their behavior. So if we all like cars or we all like beauty and we like, going to picnics and things like that, this is the type of person that I will target on this particular day for this particular event. So grouping people by their behavior is a great way to get in. But for a connected marketer, it's not about grouping people according to behavior. It's actually grouping people individually based on their personalized experience. There's no need for you not to do that because mobile is the catalyst and enabler of personalized experiences. And it's building a brand that serves your customer in that regard. So we are witnessing the end of average. That is what we expect. We believe this is what really, really counts. When it really counts is that we want bespoke all the way as customers. We're moving away from actuarial to actual, using tech to recognize us as an individual. If we look at Discovery and how Discovery has that device and it tracks your driving behavior on the road and where your car is, and it will give you a rebate based on your insurance. So I'm not a reckless driver, so therefore I'm not expecting somebody to give me an insurance premium fee that I would probably never claim from them. Touch wood, but I'm just trying to make a point here, and it's like assessing your customers based on their individual behavior and giving them a personalized experience of your product and service. And then if we look at the next final point is be of service. Be of service to your customer. Should you be thinking about collecting and using data on behalf of your customer, you need to extract more value and how you can get more out of your customer instead of thinking how I can get more money from them. You need to think of how you can serve your customer best with the data that you have at hand. And that is exactly what a connected marketer does. And the new shopping journey very quickly is bringing all of those things together. So, for example, if I walk into a store, you recognize my presence, whether it's through app, Wi-Fi, or with beacons. You recognize I've just walked into the store. You then gather data. What is the weather? What time of day is it? What is my customer profile? And then you tailor and alter a specific message and, a promotion or opportunity for me based on the information you've in real time gathered about me. Serve me the content through the right channel, and then you can actually validate whether I've redeemed the voucher that you've just sent me to say, we noticed that you're on your way to, it's dinner time. Here's a great example. It's cold outside. How about having a biryani for dinner? Here's a 10 Rand off on biryani. And recognizing that I redeem that voucher in store, and then you start seeing behavior where I keep on returning to your store and you keep on using these 4 dimensions to serve me. One of the great examples was Adidas. they wanted to experiment with the physical and the digital sensorial and emotional experiences. And one of the things that they did is they created training shoes, and in the tongue of the shoe, they put RFID in it, radio frequency identification. And what they used it for was that every time when you wore the shoes and you stepped into the train, it would pay your train fees. And the shoe actually had 1 year's train pass embedded into the shoe. So whenever you wear it, friction was removed out of your life. You were comfortable because you were in your favorite sneakers or your favorite shoes. You were, still doing what you love best, which is running. So all of these things were asserted for. And then the other last thing is also they created a run club. So, well, not a run club. Nike actually did this run club where people meet outside their stores, and then when they meet outside their stores, they get to, get tracked according to the devices that they're wearing, and they had this whole fun movement where people can go around the town and run together as part of the nightclub. But then Adidas went and said, "Oh my goodness, why didn't we not create this experience on steroids?" And they merged the 4 experiences of physical, digital, sensorial, and emotional by creating an environment where everything can be done. People would walk in, they would use the app to monitor and give them feedback as they're running around the track that they've created in the store. You try on a new pair of shoes, see how you can run with it around the store. There's showers, plus you're being monitored, and you've got trainers that can help you to improve your running. And this environment, which is called RunBase, is specifically created to assist you in improving your ability to run for these big events. And the concept was built around 5 core pillars, which is the heart, the brain, the gear, the energy, and the muscle. Now, this is a great example of how brands are doing it. And what I want to say to you in closing is that our responsibility is, as connected marketers, is really to have clarity on all of these new trends and to find ways of how we can integrate that. We need to use our 4 human dimensions, and we need to find ways to create seamless experiences for our customers. Now, you can either hire people that know the stuff, or you can learn these new skills. So if you guys are interested in learning more, you can contact me on Carmen, CARMEN, at booyah, BOO-YAH.co.za, and I will be happy to share more information on the courses on the connected marketer, the role of artificial intelligence, proposition development. There's quite a lot of courses that we do have available that addresses everything around the connected marketer. So we're looking forward to hear from you. Thank you very much for signing in to this masterclass, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, guys.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.